So God gave them that name. I explained the teaching part as well. Why did God do it now? Like I just said now as well, it's the preparation. The people had to be prepared first. But what does it show? The fact that God did give his name, right? It shows that God in the end did open him up to ridicule, to be abused, right? It did end up, and we do that. Gave examples of that. We do just that. And God knew it's going to happen, but he still gave it, right? Because he wanted to show the people who he is. God was opening up himself, giving knowledge about himself, even though he knew it's going to be abused even by people calling themselves Christians. Right? That's a sad fact. That's just very, very sad. It's horrible, but that's just as is, unluckily. But God didn't stop. That didn't stop God from, right? It's like if you trust someone and you don't just open up to people concerning things that you do wrong or things that you have questions about things in your life that you have weakness or struggles with. You don't kind of open this up to anybody. Like with the people walking near past, I'm not going to start saying, oh, I have this problem or that problem and this do or I do that kind of idea. I mean, that's kind of not very wise. But when you build a relationship with people and you start getting to know people, and you see that you can trust that person or people, then you can start opening up slowly, okay? Now, in our case, there's never going to be a time where God can trust us. That's a problem. See, it would have never been possible for God to give us any information concerning himself. It is just plain an impossibility. It is not possible for him to do it because he can't trust us. He look at us and he can see, okay, we lie all the time. We hurt people. We sin all the time, right? That's just that. We believe in all kinds of things. We abuse him, even though supposedly his children do it the whole time. That's just what. So, and God knew this, right? So now, knowing all of this, if you like say, oh, well, I can't do anything there. I mean, I can't tell him who I am because I can't trust him. I can't open up anything. And in that way, we would have known absolutely nothing ultimately about God. It would be totally impossible to know anything about God if he did not open it up to us, right? Yes, I mean, just understand me correctly. So I'm not saying like we can know from nature that God exists. We can know from nature that God is consistent, right? Because laws, they don't flip overnight, kind of. There's just a few things that we can know about, although, ask atheists and they wouldn't believe in God at all. So there's certain things that we can know, okay, about kind of what God ought to be like. But to really know him on who he truly is, not just vaguely, right, very superficial. He had to open up himself. He had to give us that information. If God didn't give us brains to think, right, no eyes to see, we would not walk through everything. We would have known, right? We would not have been able to get through this. So even in creation, God created us in such a way so that we can discern logic, right? So that we can look at this and can discern that God exists ultimately. But then he had to go further through his word to open up about his character and who he is. And even though he knew we're going to make a mess of it and he can't trust us at all, he still did this. He still did it. Right? That is like creating us. He knew we're going to sin, but he created us because he knew his son is going to ultimately, to the glory of God, go to a cross and die, live and die and rise again. Right? So it's not, I mean, God, it's like, there's none like him. That's just that. I would never have done anything like this because I would have, well, I said, I would have just slapped Adam and Eve there straight at creation. Just last night I spoke about further teaching on the students in our Bible school online now about the grace of God there in chapter 3. And everything I see kind of, it's always just totally mind-blowing in the fact of what God does ultimately and how he does it, and the fact that he does open up. And in fact, suffice to say, I would have made the most horrible God out of it, but any human being would have, because praise God that God is he and not like us. Whew. Yeah. Okay, so knowing, he still did. He opened himself. So by giving his name, he opened himself up to ridicule, to laughter, to abuse. Like I said, we do it. We do it all the time. Sad, super sad, but unluckily true. Okay, so I did address a few other questions as well. So, like for example, Moses. Is it Moses' inquisitiveness ultimately that saved him? I addressed the idea of, so was this just a natural event that happened? Okay, so for example, seeing a bush that is burning, and like some people say in that part of the world, it's kind of normal. I mean, there are bushes like that. It looks as if, but it's not really. So it's kind of a natural. Now I know the Russian word again, and Yevlenia, a natural occurrence, right? But I said, yeah, Moses was used to living and walking that part of the world, so he would have seen it a number of times. So something had to be different about this bush, and clearly, immediately, it states as well that there was someone speaking out of the bush. Now, if these bushes burned, that would then, in general, I don't think it would be a natural occurrence for these bushes to start speaking, right? So, even if the other thing is possible, but still, I don't think. I mean, it there had to be something different concerning that whole burning, because Moses would have seen other bushes like this if it's only a natural thing, and it would not have attracted his attention. But then surely the supernatural part here is this voice coming now. Yeah, ventriloquist kind of maybe hiding there behind and throwing his voice and kind of speaking through the bush. I guess I don't know if they had that kind of, I mean, so in some sense, yeah, I guess people can explain that, but to throw all of these things together, especially in a kind of a time when this was not the norm. Yeah, you know, you're stretching things a little bit. Anyhow, so yeah, I explained it's not inquisitiveness ultimately, because like God would say, oh, okay, so he was not inquisitive enough, so I need to make it a bigger thing, so he will really come, or something like that. Oh, he's still not coming, so I mean, we can see in the next chapter how he's going to speak to God. He doesn't want to do what God told him to do, and God's not just going to take no for an answer. He's just going to basically say, okay, you are going, that's that. Okay, so God would have wait for, oh, he made the choice to come. Oh, yes, thank you. Now you made the choice, and oh, you don't want to go. Oh, your choice is not to go. Okay, so I won't let you go, kind of. I mean, it's contradictory, right? That's nonsense. No, God made sure it will come, and God made sure. So God put everything in him so that he will come. So we can speak of new birth. He gave him a new heart through the Spirit first and foremost, and only after that the rest happened. Okay, and then God would send him. As then ultimately God is going to do